This is Cthulhu Dark, The Secret of Castronegro Part 3, our finale. We left the characters basically in cliffhangers. Two of the characters, I have to remember, I can't remember the combinations. Two of you were headed towards the barn, and two of you were trying to talk to Juan in his room, but there was something going on in Juan's room that caused I remember Nina was there, Nina to run. So that was Nina and Cliff. And then we have Dolly and Ernest going to the barn. Let's start with the barn. If you'll recall, you can hear, it's faint, but you can hear the playing of flute music as you are approaching the barn. There are no lights. Did you all bring anything? Do you have anything that might function as a light source? Cigarette lighter, maybe.
I think we must. Yeah, Ernest would definitely have that. We must have brought something, given that
Yeah, I
it's
think we
night time.
established that Ernest smokes, so he would
Yes,
have
we did. Yeah,
something to light. Yeah.
Let's say you have a cigarette lighter. Not a lot of light, but a little bit. It's something. You might have to stay close. This is an old gray half-ruined barn that is painted red on one side, though in the moonlight it just looks like sort of one side is darker than the others. The barn doors are locked with a padlock. As you approach, there doesn't appear to be anybody around at a glance. Seems pretty quiet apart from the flute playing. So,
and that sounds like it's coming from inside, right?
It does indeed, yeah. Which is strange, because if there's someone in there playing flute, how do they lock themselves in? Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that I know the answer to this question. Are there any windows looking into the barn?
Yeah, I was thinking we should search around for another entrance.
There is a high window. If you can figure out a way to climb up to it, you can certainly get up to the loft area.
How high are we talking?
Like a second story.
How tall is Ernest?
Probably about 6 feet.
I know you just got shot. Do you think you could carry me on your shoulders?
If you stand on the right shoulder, I should be able to do something.
Well, I was a cheerleader in high school, so I imagine I can manage to do this.
Let's have a die roll to see if you can get inside the building. Go ahead and let's see here. I need to go to the die roller myself. For some reason, I don't have it open.
I think I'm going to risk some insight on this because I don't want to fail.
Sure, go for it. You got a 5. That's a great success. Yeah, just give me a quick brief scene of how you managed to hoist your way up there.
Ernest, I think you kind of do that thing where you kneel down and you cup your hands to give the boost. And I imagine it's probably right against the side of the barn so that if I lose my balance, I could at least lean up against the barn and try to regain it. I think, yeah, for me, it's just a matter of boosting up and standing on his shoulders. Luckily, I'm not wearing heels, so, you'll keep your shoulders. But how does Ernest feel about this?
I think the hardest part for him is the cupping his hands, because that involves tension on that injured shoulder. But once you're able to climb up onto his uninjured shoulder, it's not so bad. And he doesn't even mind when you put a foot on his head right at the end.
Yeah, more for balance rather than stopping.
Right.
You have a little bit of moonlight coming in through this window that illuminates this sort of like upper loft space of the barn. And you can see straight away that there is a ladder, a freestanding ladder, that goes from the bottom floor interior of the barn up to the loft. You could haul that up pretty easily and drop it down for Ernest if you wish.
I think before that, Ernest will give a little whistle and then toss his lighter up to Dolly so that if she needs light, she has it.
Yeah, I'm gonna flick the cigarette lighter and kind of kind of trying to keep it a little bit dim in case anybody inside sees it. Just sort of push my hands inside the window. I assume there's no glass. It's
No,
just
no,
kind
it's
of
like one of those open, like where you would toss hay out of or whatever. Right?
yeah, like an
probably
old
probably
school.
even has like a block and tackle thing for lifting hay bales in, right?
Yeah, it probably does. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know those words. So I think I just kind of use my hands to cover the light a little bit, but try and get a little bit of direction of light, small light beam.
Yeah, make a single die investigation roll. See what you notice.
I got a 2.
You don't have a lot of light. You can see pretty well in the loft, but looking down below is a little harder. You don't hear or see anything moving around in the barn. The flute music is louder now that you're in the barn, but it's still muffled. What do you do?
Does it sound like it's coming from the upper area where I am?
No, it's definitely coming from below.
Okay. Ernest, I'm gonna crawl in. If
Is there a way you can help me get up?
I don't know. I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can lower a ladder or something. The
Okay.
ladder, do you think I could pull that ladder
You
up
could
and
pull
drop
it
it
up.
out the window?
Yeah, you could pull it up, drag it over, and
Perfect.
drop it down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of my plan then.
You can take a moment
There's-
to do that.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and then you can crawl up if you wish, Ernest.
Yep.
And you're now both in the loft. You'll have to drag the ladder back to
Mhm.
put it back to go back down.
Yeah, we try and be quiet as possible doing that.
I will tell you
Just in
that your means of quick egress are disappearing because if you go down below and you have to get out in a hurry, you're going to just be jumping from the top roof of the top
Right.
floor of the barn, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's still better than jumping from the top floor of the barn on the inside and making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And then not having a way to get back up.
We wouldn't have a way to get back up anyway. Yeah. So I assume you're kind of quietly going down into the bottom floor.
Yeah, I think Ernest will lead the way if Dolly's okay with that.
The barn is mostly empty, except for a pile of crates in the east corner. There are no animals, and the stalls are even quite clean of hay. It doesn't seem like this has been used for the actual purpose of storing animals in a good long while.
Are there any markings on the crates indicating where they came from, where they're going, what they might contain?
Make the roll.
Okay. Four.
A 4. The crates, there's nothing special about the crates. They're not even heavy. They don't have anything in them.
Okay.
The flute music is coming from below the crates.
There must be a trapdoor down here. And I'll start to move the crates aside.
As soon as Ernest starts to move the crates aside, it reveals a little stack of folded cloth, black cloth, Dolly, just kind of resting on one of the crates.
I want to pull up one of the cloths and see what it is, like if it's a sheet or if it's a cloak or if
It is a
like
cowled robe. And there are several of them.
Ernest, put one of these on, just in case. Just a disguise. Will be harder to see in the dark anyway.
Quite the look I usually go for, but all right. I think it might be for the best.
Do you put one on as well, Dolly?
Yeah.
Do you keep moving the crates?
Yes.
Indeed, there is a trapdoor beneath the crates, and the flute playing is even louder now. What do you do? The trapdoor is not secured in any way.
I mean,
what do you think, Dolly? Do we go down?
We gotta see what's down there, right?
I guess we gotta. Well, here goes.
If you open the trapdoor, you can hear the flute playing in its fullness now.
Mm,
And there is a ladder going down. Do you go down?
Is there
Yeah,
a
I'll
light
take
source
the-
down there that we can tell?
There is not.
Yeah, I'll take the lighter and hold it out before me and start to climb down.
Quick out
Nina,
of character question, because I'm
Yeah.
not sure if we actually asked this. Is there a door to the barn? I just went up through the
yeah,
window.
it was padlocked. Yeah,
Yeah,
from
it's
the
padlocked on
outside.
the outside.
Yeah, that's I remembered
Right.
something about that. Okay, cool.
Nina, you said that you were running as soon as you heard whatever noise was coming from Juan Herrera's room. I think you can run back out and quickly meet back up with Cliff. And speaking of running, Father Alonso Pereira is running Cliff from the church across the street in the direction of the hotel. He's screaming, "Hurry, hurry! We mustn't delay, we mustn't delay." And he bursts into the hotel, into the lobby, and he just sees you, like he expected you to be there almost. And Cliff, and he says, "They have him. They have David. Hurry,
Who has David? Where?
hurry!" And he like leaves, he runs back out.
Nina, are you what? We gotta go.
We go.
We go.
Just go. I mean, like, we're basically pushing each other out of the hotel.
He is, well, let me take a look real quick. He cuts across the churchyard to the back fence entrance of the churchyard, going in a generally southwesterly direction. Meanwhile, down below, the flute playing is so loud. It takes up this whole basement space. You can only see a few feet in front of you with the lighter. Whatever is playing the flute is maybe 20 feet away, 30 feet away.
I think
You approach.
I'll signal to Dolly to stay by the ladder, assuming she's following me down. I don't know if she'll
Oh,
pay
Dolly
attention
scowls
to
at that, but she does do it.
Yeah. And then I'll start making my way toward the source of the sound.
Dolly, you can see what happens because it's going to enter the light. Ernest, you're taking careful steps closer to the flute playing. You see a pair of hands holding these long, strange pipe flutes, playing the pipes. And as you get a little closer, you see that the pipes are being played by a creature that looks like a snake with legs standing up, looming. It has a writhing array of tentacles all around its body, filling the space. And it just bobs back and forth, playing its song, its melody. It doesn't even seem to take notice of you. Or if it does, maybe it just sees your robes and decides you're not worth its time. But in any case, both of you please make insight rolls. Dolly is going up with a 6. Ernest is not. Dolly, how are you feeling?
I mean, I haven't been a paranormal investigator for very long, and it is more of a means to an end to, fame and fortune. I think this is probably the first, Dolly's seen spooky things before, but this is horrific. This is horrifying. And I think she's sort of stunned into silence.
What is your insight now?
It's at 4.
Ernest, the flute-playing creature weaving back and forth, its tentacles undulating in the air. You can see there's something behind it, like an altar, things set in the wall. What do you do?
Yeah, I think the way I managed to retain my composure is just because I was expecting something to jump out at me, expecting a jump scare. And even though this thing is disturbing, it's at least not trying to rip my head off instantly. Yeah, I think I'll warily circle it and try and get some kind of a look at what this is on the wall behind it.
I think this is going to be first a roll just to see if you can get on the other side of the creature without earning its ill favor. So roll a die. If nobody else is, I'm going to roll against you.
Okay, and in that case, I'll add an insight as well, just to.
Indeed. I rolled a 6.
Oh boy, I rolled a 6.
You rolled a
but
6
that
as
6
well.
was on the insight die, so I guess that means my insight goes up.
It does not. It means you have to make an insight roll, but you do win though because you got the 6.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's the robe and the cowl that's keeping you safe right now.
Mhm.
Because sometimes the creature tries to get like a look at you like more closely. It's playing the pipes, but if you sort of keep the cowl turned just so, it just lets you walk by. You get to the other side of it. Dolly, what are you doing right now?
I think Dolly realizes again that she's been gripping that statue in her pocket really hard. And I think she kind of lets it go and lets her hand release and steps forward slightly just to try and get a better view of what's going on. Because I think she can see Ernest walking towards and trying to walk around to get a better look at something, but I don't think she can see what it is back there.
Indeed. Ernest, one of the tentacles, worms its way on the other side of the cowl and caresses your cheek. That's where the insight roll comes from. Go ahead and roll it.
Let's see what I roll. Oh, 5.
Does that mean you go up?
That means I go up.
Indeed. How does it make you feel when the creature actually touches you?
I think that's when the horror of the situation really settles in, that there's something just, it's taking every fiber of his will to not brush this thing off his face and shrink away and in disgust, so it's like he knows he can't react in that way, and just the horrible feeling of just having to let this thing touch him without reacting is every nerve in his body is on end.
What's your insight now?
4.
Nina, Cliff, you are following behind Father Alonso. It's easy to keep up with him because he's old, but he's definitely hustling though. He says, I saw them walking out of town wearing their damnable robes. And I saw him. He was with them.
David was with them. He's okay.
Yes. It was he. I saw him. He wasn't wearing the robes. He wasn't wearing anything at all. They had him sort of in shackles.
Where are they taking him? Do you know?
I know where they're taking him.
It's the obelisk, isn't it?
Yeah, he points his hand and it almost looks like the statue pointing. And he says, The church tried so hard to change these people. The Varela Pereiras, the Diazes, they went underground with their practices for so many years. I, fed up with my family's dark lineage, I took up the cloth. I took up the collar. I thought if I just stayed there, a presence, a man of God, I thought I could keep it all under control. But then David,
What did he do?
I warned him. I warned him not to get involved. I warned him to leave. I fear they have found something in him that makes him a worthy sacrifice.
Sacrifice. We
What
have
do
to
you
get
know?
there.
What do you know of Joaquin? What happened with Joaquin?
And he stops. He says, Joaquin Varela Pereira,
Yes,
my great nephew.
I guess.
I'm afraid the family considers him something of a disappointment.
I
And
heard that.
all the disappointments end up in the same place.
Down
Hurry.
below.
Hurry! And it's not far to the obelisk. You do see it. It is quite illuminated with torchlight. You see figures in their black robes. They are sending up chants, song, up to the sky. You can start to hear the flute music. It's quite loud. It's everywhere. And they are dancing to it, swaying, moving. Every now and then you can see their green eyes glittering in the torchlight. The obelisk itself, a 30-foot tall horror of black stone, probably the same black stone that the statue is carved from in the chapel. And poor David being lashed to it. Meanwhile, down in the barn, and I would like for both of you to make an insight roll real quick, if you don't mind. Nina's going up.
Okay.
And Cliff, what'd you get?
A 4.
Nina, you're at 5. You have nameless cults if you want to burn it and and get that suppressed knowledge going. You can always snatch the postcard from Cliff, I suppose. Lots of different things to do here.
Okay.
Or you could maybe convince everyone to turn around and go back. That'd be an interesting way of suppressing knowledge.
Mm.
Those are some out-of-character thoughts, Mads.
Okay. And she will snatch at Father Alonso, and she will try to turn him around and look into those glittering green eyes and say, "Well, what are we doing here? What do you expect us to do?"
We have to do something. We can't just let them do whatever, no doubt, depraved and murderous actions they intend to take with David.
No. We need to go back to town. We need to go. We need to go find Joaquin. I mean, did they deal with disappointments all in the same way, right? You said someone said he's
He grabs
down
you.
below.
He says, if you are determined to find Joaquin Varela Pereira, you must go into the tunnels beneath the town, and the only way to access them is through the Casa de Diaz. But if this is a decision you wish to make, you must make it now, while they're distracted.
Just point me in the direction of the casa.
It's north.
And she will, if he indicates it, she will turn and go. She will just,
I'll give you a suppressing mythos knowledge for that.
okay.
Nina, you're leaving?
I have to find Joaquin. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, which die do I roll for?
Just you just need a single die regardless. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going down.
Okay.
It has to be lower. You got a 5.
Okay.
But you can run to the Casa de Diaz nevertheless.
Okay.
So Father Alonso says, I'm an old man, Mr. Avery. It's on you. I don't think you can overpower a dozen deranged Villela Pereiras and Diazes, but perhaps there's another way.
Yeah, perhaps. And he's going to start looking around for whatever else might be in the area.
Make an investigation roll.
A 6.
Oh, 6. That's very good. Get all the information you need. You will see the cigarette lighter faintly illuminating the barn. You might probably see Dolly and Ernest just as they're kind of getting up to the second floor of the barn. Father Alonso says, that's where they head out from before they do their rituals. They always stop by there first.
The barn.
Yes. It looks
So
like
is
someone
this-
is. It looks like someone is there already. Your friends, perhaps.
Does that mean they've just come from there, or they're on their way back?
They will have just come from there.
Did they do mining in this town?
Possibly long ago, but no more.
Something big and heavy, or explosive.
And he sort of says, "They, I don't know. I have no idea." And David is now tied to the obelisk. He seems to be sort of in a stupor, but he occasionally achieves lucidity, and you can see his eyes widening in terror.
Father, can you go back to the church and ring the bell?
Yes, I can do that. What then?
I don't know, but maybe it'll distract them long enough.
All right. And he goes back. So what do you do then?
So amongst the hooded figures, can any of them be identified?
Not from this distance.
And they must have like torches or some sort.
They do. They have like tiki torches.
I'm gonna try and get closer while staying outside of the light, and try and lay in wait before the bell goes off. Hopefully.
Let's see how this plan worked. Just give me a die roll to see if this plan was a good one.
A 3.
It will work a little bit. You might still have to deal with some of them. If you want to add an insight die, if you get a higher result, I'll give you a clearer shot at it.
Yeah, I'll do.
6.
6.
There you go. And I think I already owe you a couple of insight rolls. Let's just take one now. As you realize when the bells start ringing, the cultists start, like, they stop and they begin to confer with each other. And they're doing something, but they leave. But they've left just one person with David in the area. a naked Diaz or Valela Pereira skulking around on all fours, simian-like, patrolling as they head back towards the town. Dolly and Ernest, you'll hear the church bells ringing in the distance. The creature stops playing the flute immediately. This is a moment of intense danger. Dolly, what do you do?
I know that Ernest is looking at something back there, and clearly this creature has to be guarding something. Otherwise, what's the point of having it down here? Hey! She kind of yells out a bit. Tentacle face! Over here! And then I'm gonna run. I want to try and get this thing to, I want to run and hide and hopefully have this thing chase me enough of the way to get away from Ernest, but enough time for me to actually hide.
Okay, good. But hide down in the basement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, or in the if I have to go up the ladder, because I think I'm still standing
Yeah,
right next
maybe
to the
go up the
ladder.
ladder and like hide in the barn is probably the better
Yeah,
move.
that's kind of
Yeah.
the plan.
Yeah. That sounds great. Let's have
Does
a
it?
roll. See how it goes. No, it sounds terrible. But let's do a roll anyway.
I can't really think of how my background really, aside from like spooky investigations,
Yeah,
I don't
I
think it
don't
really
know. I think
applies.
it's just one die, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna add some insight though,
Yeah,
because
go for it.
I'm desperate.
5, that's good. And you don't have to do the insight roll because the insight's not higher than any other die. It works. Describe how you would run away and draw the creature away.
I think as I'm yelling out to get this creature's attention, I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is the worst idea I've ever had in my life. And climbing up the ladder as fast as I can. There's all those crates that were nearby that have been sort of moved aside and toppled, and I think I'm just gonna grab one and pull it over myself, tucking myself in under it as quickly and quietly as I possibly can, hoping that the dark robe that I'm wearing makes it so that there's nothing visible inside the crate, and the uh, thing down there will, I don't know, maybe bust out the doors looking for me.
Well, it does go up the ladder, up the hole, and it's skulking around the barn. But Ernest, it's given you, Dolly's bought you a free shot here at what's back here. So I'll just tell you. I'm not even gonna make you roll. Gotta pull it up though. Hold on. So on the wall of the basement are strange symbols carved into the rock and filled in with black dye. They are all pictoglyphs of prehistoric origin. None of them make any sense to you necessarily, but there are some that are written in English. One prominently just has some sort of name, Yog Satot, written on the wall. Furthermore, down below, there is also a charge of dynamite that is clearly meant to burn down the barn in a hurry if it needs to be done. Furthermore, there is so there's like a little altar space, right? And you will see in the altar space, which is kind of set in the wall, there's a beautiful silver chalice. But importantly, there's a skull.
Mm.
The skull is fairly fresh. There's still bits of meat on it. And somewhat discarded haphazardly, you'll recognize Dr. Godfrey's tortoiseshell glasses. Please make an insight roll. That is
Somehow
a 6.
I'm keeping it together. No, that's bad, isn't it? On an insight
Yeah,
roll.
6. You're going up to 5 as well. You are now entitled to suppress mythos knowledge, and boy, you've got a way to suppress mythos knowledge here.
Yeah.
How are
I
you
was
feeling
kind
though?
of hope.
How are you feeling though?
Yeah.
With seeing what is apparently Dr. Godfrey's skull on the altar.
I mean, there's almost a feeling of relief that he knows what happened, that he has an answer. But of course, the answer is kind of the most horrifying answer imaginable. But there is relief that Godfrey wasn't involved. And there's also a kind of feeling of revulsion that he was even capable of thinking that that might be the case, right? So it's like a feeling of betrayal of this man that, you know, the thought crossed my mind. But yeah, I think our only shot at, I think the conclusion I come to is the only shot we have of destroying this creature. I don't want to fight it. We don't have any weapons to fight it with. Is to take the barn down with it inside.
Do you set the charge?
I'll set the charge and then run like hell for the stairs, for the ladder.
The ladder, yeah. Okay, that sounds good. Let's cut over to Nina DeRime hauling it. Are you going to cut through the town or are you going to go through the scrub?
I think she's like just gonna go through, you know, whatever looks the straightest. I mean, like he pointed a direction, she's just gonna take it and she's gonna go. Now, for the destroying of things, does it have to be witnessed by someone?
No, you just have to like, you have to convince yourself that you are turning away or burying things.
I think, you know, as she's running, as she's like, you know, tearing through whatever, like whether it be the town or she's tearing through the scrub, the straightest direction possible, I think she's taken out the book and she started saying, no, this has nothing to do with it. Absolutely not. And she starts tearing pages out of it and then leaving him in her wake and just tossing them out.
Suppress mythos knowledge. Let's see if you go down.
Oh boy.
You do, the 2.
Okay.
How are you feeling? Feeling better?
Feeling better. I mean, like she's just like, you know, like trying to control her breathing as she's trying to run efficiently to the casa to find out what happened to Joaquin.
Cliff, there is a naked, skulking Diaz/Valela Pereira, lanky, long black hair, with the eyes green in the moonlight and torchlight, occasionally breaking through the dark curtain of hair. It's just sort of patrolling. It occasionally like goes up to David and like smells him. What do you do?
I'm going to try and get the obelisk between me and it, and use my hotel room key to start sawing through the rope.
Sounds good. Let's have a roll. See how you do. That is a 1. You always succeed. I'm going to roll against you, actually. Why not? Because your roll is so bad. I got a 3. Do you want to add an insight and try to beat a 3?
I think I'll do that.
Okay, go for it.
5.
Hey, perfect success. Go ahead and describe how you rescue David. He's a little groggy, but
David, and kind of whisper.
He's like, oh, He's like,
Shh, shh,
Cliff, is that you?
Don't react. I'm gonna cut you free. And then as soon as that thing's turned away, we're gonna run. Okay.
Okay. I'm so sorry, Cliff. I should have told you. I should have said something. I shouldn't have left New Mexico like that. Or left Boston for New Mexico like that. Or left, I don't know.
Sort all that out later. We just gotta get you out of here now.
I don't want my parents to see me like this, Cliff.
They won't, I promise. Just stay calm. And when I tell you, get ready to run.
And yeah, so keep going. You succeed. Just describe the eventual escape.
Once the rope has been sawed through, he's going to hold the pieces together so it doesn't drop until the creature turns away, and then he's just going to drop the rope on one side and tug on the other and say, "Go, go, go!" and wait for David before running along with him. Hopefully,
Yeah. Duh, Ernest, you have climbed up the basement ladder. You see the creature skulking around. You see Dolly trying to keep things between her and the creature. A very classic sort of Scooby-Doo situation going on here. You see the ladder going up. I think you both just need to roll to escape, basically.
Yeah, I think I just shout out, Dolly, run! And scramble for the ladder. But I think I try, Ernest is keeping his wits about him enough to try and let Dolly get up there first.
Yeah.
I added an insight die, and I got a 6 on my insight die. For the
that means you're
insight
going to have to
roll
make an
die.
insight roll.
Yeah.
I think the insight roll comes from the fact that you're going to escape, but not before the creature. I think essentially the creature like as you're rounding a corner of, a crate to try to like get to the ladder, the creature is there and it opens its mouth very wide like a cottonmouth snake, and you can see bile dripping down from its fangs. You can see the halo of tentacles, and maybe you fully expect for some sort of strange, hissing, guttural, monstrous noise, but that's not what comes out at all. The creature says, as if in your mind, "Our Lord Yog-Sothoth will soon awaken." Go ahead and roll insight. You tied your
my
insight.
rune was 4. It did go up
Your
to
insight
5.
was 5. Yeah, you're okay, but just run.
Yep.
Ernest, I need you to roll to escape as well.
I made the roll and I got boxcars.
Nice.
So I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's a full escape, and you are, and because the insight die wasn't higher than any other die, you don't have to make an insight roll. I'll just take the description. We just see the two of you. It's literally a classic action movie, seeing the two of you diving out of the top, like, little window space as the whole place just goes up. Pow! It just explodes, sending barn and creature parts all over the place. Nina, you run past the vault, you go a little further, and you get to the Casa de Diaz. It is a large, in the darkness, it looks like a large black monstrosity, but it is in fact a sort of old Spanish style villa. There are 4 Doberman pinchers patrolling the front yard. And whenever they turn enough for you to see, you can see that the Doberman, they almost like smile like people. They smile like people. And they have teeth that look like people teeth. And they have very, very vivid green eyes. Let's take a 5-minute break. Ernest, you are owed a suppress mythos knowledge for destroying the barn. So go ahead and roll that.
Okay, that's just a single die.
Single die. Looking for lower than your... Okay, you got a 3, so you're good. You can lower your
3.
insight by 1. Dolly, you are now entitled to do suppress mythos knowledge if you have some things to destroy or deny.
Well, I imagine that while we're making our escape, Ernest is quickly yelling to me about what he saw down there. Would you be doing that, Ernest? You're muted.
As we're scrambling away, I'm just kind of... There was... Dr. Godfrey, they killed him. They killed him, and I think they're worshipping something there. There was writing on the wall. There was symbols. It must be something to do with that book he had. I don't know what it means, though.
I think Dolly's kind of putting together what she knows about infants not being... infants disappearing in this area for quite a long time, and putting 2 and 2 together about what's happening to those infants, and I think that is what she is going to try and suppress.
Oh, by just not sharing that information.
Yeah, nope, that's not gonna talk about it, not gonna think about it. If it's not going into her notes, like she's mentally crossing that out of all of her notes with a big black marker.
Go ahead and roll suppress knowledge. A 1. You get to lower it by 1. Cliff, you and David can get to a safe place. Just distance is the main thing you need. He's got no clothing on. Do you do something to help with his modesty? You're muted. I muted you earlier, sorry. Ben, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I think I'll wrap my jacket. He can wrap it around his
Sure.
waist, or
Yeah. He says, "What? You came all the way out here to find me?"
Of course I did.
That's very thoughtful of you.
Well, we can sing my praises when we get back to Boston, but for now, we gotta find somewhere safe, and we gotta find a way to hole out until the bus arrives in the morning.
There's a hotel. I have a friend at the hotel.
Yeah. I don't think that's safe.
And he kind of stops. And he says, "The bus won't be here till tomorrow, will it?"
Not until the morning.
Well, what are we going to do until then?
I don't know. Maybe the constable will let us hide out.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I need to sit. I don't know what they did to me, but I can barely remember. Well, I don't even know how long I've been gone, or they have such terrible plans, Cliff. Terrible things they're going to do.
Well, we stopped them, right? We got you, and now we'll get home and it's over.
And right about then is probably when the barn explodes. um, and that's a shocking thing. And he says, I feel like that should frighten me, but it doesn't. It makes me feel better. I think it's probably what needs to happen to this whole goddamn town.
I'm not going to argue, but I hope my friends weren't in there.
You're here with other people?
Yes. Well, it just sort of happened.
Well, we have to help them. We have to get them out of here.
We will, but for now, we got to get you somewhere safe where you can rest.
And we'll say that you can deposit David wherever you want. Where would that be?
Is there like the constable's office?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And he's going to try and convince.
Yeah, Fred he probably lives there too. He's kind of got his house robe on. He's like, or actually, he's probably already getting dressed because he heard the explosion. He's like, "What the hell's going on out there?"
I don't know what happened in the barn, but
I heard the church bells ringing, and now this is, and oh, this is your friend. You found him.
Yes. Can we put him in a cell?
Sure. Yeah, bring him in. He'll kind of. He says he'll be fine here. They don't mess with my office. It's part of our arrangement.
Okay, good. David, just get some rest, and I'll be back as soon as I can.
So where are you headed?
I think I'm going to try heading out toward the barn.
We'll fast forward. You meet Ernest and Dolly halfway.
Oh, thank heavens. I was so worried. We got to go. We got to find Nina, I think.
Rob, we can't
Where
hear
is
you.
she? Where did you leave her?
She left me. She went to the casa, the big house to the north.
By herself?
Yes, the priest said something about Joaquin, and she just took off. I found David. He's okay.
You found him. Where was he?
They tied him to the obelisk, but the father rang the bells, and they were distracted enough. I got him loose, and we ran. He's at the constable's office now.
Well, Ernest blew up the barn.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think so. I suppose we should go to this Casa de Diaz if Nina's there and supposedly
can't let-
Joaquin is there.
We can't let Nina go there by herself. But we
And
need weapons. Do you suppose the
weapons.
constable would lend me a shotgun?
Maybe couldn't hurt to ask.
Meanwhile, Nina, you can get into the Casa de Diaz. You have to get past the dogs first. So what do you do?
I think she's watching to see if there's any patterns, to see if there's any logic to. She's steadfastly ignoring what they look like, just thinking of them as dogs. That's all. Guard dogs.
Did you do an insight roll for seeing them originally?
No, not yet.
Yeah, do it now. Yeah. You got a 5. Insight's going up. You're at 5 again. How are you feeling right now?
Again, she's here. She saw the dogs. She's tamping that down hard. They're just guard dogs. That's all. I see dogs. That's it. So, she will have her her scalpel out though, as she tries to sneak around the dogs and try to get inside. She'll try to see if there's a back way or something, some kind of door, not the front door.
Go ahead and make a die roll and see if you can sneak in.
Okay. Come on.
Perfect. 5. You get inside the Casa de Diaz. Describe your. You'll kind of get in, through a rear entrance.
I think she pauses for a few minutes, watches to see if there's any patterns, and there are, rounds that the dogs make, and then she just like makes her way very light-footed and comes up to the back entrance. It looks smaller, and she will try the door, and then she will manage to, it doesn't seem to be locked, and then she will slip her way inside. I don't think she has a lighter. She'll just make her way as silently as possible through the back door.
You enter through what appears to be the kitchen of the Casa de Diaz. It's completely deserted. The utensils and wood-burning stove are very primitive, probably from the 18th century. There are stacks of plates and mugs manufactured of pewter. There's no evidence of food anywhere. There are two doors that go deeper into the house on either side, like kind of on either side of one wall. One on the left, one on the right. What do you do?
One, does it look like a stage set or like a museum set where?
No, it just looks like someone had just like stopped using this place years ago.
Okay. And then under either door, does it look like there's any light or anything?
Yeah. All just maybe ambient moonlight. That's it.
And my usual last question, is there any kind of smell from either door?
Are you going down? Like, are you going to get down to smell beneath the door?
I'm going to get close to a crack, like either the frame or the...
Make the investigation roll.
Okay. Of course.
There's no particular smell.
Damn it.
That was a 1 for people watching the video. You can always get better information by adding a die, but that's risky now. So
yeah. She says something stupid under her breath. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Going left. Taking the left door.
you go through the left door as you're facing it, and it actually, to your immediate right, there is a set of stairs going down. And then to your immediate left, there's another door, and then there's a hallway straight ahead. What do you do?
She looks up, thinks of Joaquin, and says, "Down below," and then goes down the stairs.
Fred Garcia has a single gun that he arms you with, just a pistol. And
would he also give us a flashlight?
sure. I guess that was a thing in the 20s, right? I don't know.
I think so.
A lantern, we'll say.
Lantern?
A lantern,
Yeah.
we'll say.
Yeah.
And you go past the vault, you reach the Casa de Diaz. Same situation. You see the dogs patrolling. I don't think you've glimpsed their faces yet. You just see them at a distance at this point. You can get into the Casa de Diaz, though, if you get around the dogs or otherwise distract them. What do you do?
Ernest, your bandage. It'll
I think I
smell
see what you're
great.
suggesting.
Throw
Right,
your
right.
bandage.
And Anna starts to strip off like his waistcoat and shirt and
Here. And Dolly's gonna pull the little jade statue out of her pocket. Wrap it around this. It'll give it more heft to throw. And I think that's also one
It's
way that
also
she's
suppressed
trying
knowledge.
to suppress her knowledge.
Yeah, you can make the suppressed knowledge. Go for it.
yeah, so Ernest will pull the
Oh, a 6. It did not
bandage
work.
off and
Yeah.
get as much blood on it as he can and wrap it around this thing and throw it.
Let's see if this works. Ernest, you took the action, even though it was Cliff's idea. Go ahead and roll.
So a light and then a die and another if I want to include insight.
Yeah, it's just one light die unless your occupation can justify a second die.
I don't think aspiring writer gives me
No,
any
doesn't seem
particular
like it.
skill there.
Go for it. Roll one die.
Okay.
Perfect.
5.
5. You got a clean shot at the house. Describe how you distract the dogs.
Yeah, just get as I pull this bandage off my shoulder, the wound is still bleeding. I mean, it's only a few hours old at this point, and it just soaks as much blood onto this bandage as he can, so that it's good and enticing for the dogs. Wraps the jade statue around and just hurls it kind of past the dogs and we see their heads turn as the thing goes over their head and they scamper off toward it. And it's just like go, go, go.
Good. You're all going in through the front. The front entryway sort of opens up to a little foyer area, and then that opens up into so it opens up into the entrance hall. It's a sort of long central passage that connects most of the rooms on the ground floor. The carpeting is very ratty and old. There are quite a lot of sort of oriental rugs thrown about. The walls are decorated with portraits of various prominent Diazes and Villela Pereiras. Indeed, the two of you who took notes in the vault will recognize a lot of the names underneath the portraits. But
Do we see Bernardo?
that you do not in the central hall.
And they
I
all
will
have
tell you
green
though
eyes.
that the place looks really unused. Like there might be like side tables covered with dust cloths. It's very dusty. It's almost like no one uses the house, basically. At least this floor.
Where
Can we
did
hear
it
anything?
have?
We'll go one by one, just find out what everyone's doing. Dolly, what are you doing?
Trying to listen or spot any, maybe like since it's so dusty, footprints. Try to figure out where Nina might be.
Okay, good. Ernest, what are you going to do?
Yeah, Ernest, I'm also interested in trying to figure out where Nina is. So listening for sounds of her
Okay.
moving around the house.
Yeah, Cliff?
I want to find Bernardo de Diaz.
Mm.
So I'm going to be following the portrait wall.
Oh, good. Everybody do a roll. Cliff got a 6, Dolly got 2, Ernest got a 5. Dolly, you're not going to learn too much, except that you will see some footprints going from what appears to be the dining room to a set of stairs going down. Ernest, you will hear Nina. I think Nina thinks she's being very quiet, but she's not. And so you will hear like down below, down these stairs. But interestingly, Dolly, the footprints you see are not Nina's footprints. There's someone else who walked from the dining room to the stairs. Cliff, you're on a slightly different track here. And I know you got a 6, and I know exactly what you're going to find. You move into the living room. The furniture is all covered up, of course, and it doesn't look like the room gets used at all. But on the north wall is a large portrait of Bernardo de Diaz. It says his name, which is how you know, but also you just kind of know because it's very pride of place. He looks almost like a Dracula, like he's got a black sort of like cloak lined with red and like beautiful like evening wear and a head of hair, salt and pepper, kind of slicked back. He has those high cheekbones and bright green eyes of the Diaz Varela Pereiras. But perhaps most interestingly, the rat that you know as Greedy Gut is depicted in the painting as well. And the rat is in the painting is whispering in Bernardo's ear. Roll insight.
5. I go up.
How does this make you feel? And you do have the statue with you, I assume.
I think before he even realizes what he's doing, he's taking the statue out of his pocket and just raising it to his ear.
Whether it really happens or not, you have the faint suggestion of it whispering secrets to you. What do you do then?
I think there's a moment where he's just listening and you can see his face kind of go slack and his eyes start to glaze over, and then he's like, and he just hurls the statue at the wall.
Suppress mythos knowledge. Go for it.
4.
You go down. Describe how it makes you feel better. Why does it make you feel better?
Because for just a second, Cliff would have sworn he heard things coming out of that statue, and now it's silent. Everything's back to normal.
Nina, you are in a dark hall. There's a little bit of moonlight coming in from above, but you can't see much otherwise. There's also a little bit of light coming from deeper down on this floor, which is also helping you see a little bit. It's just a long, dark hall. And you see something crawling toward you. As it enters your field of vision, you see that it's a baby. Little baby crawling, making gurgling baby noises. It looks up at you with its one green eye, makes a cooing noise. Roll insight. You got a 2, looks like. You're okay. How do you feel, though? What do you do?
Does it just have one eye? Or
It has 2 eyes, but only one of them is green.
Okay. I think it's kind of like a weird normality. It's kind of where she was thinking about Joaquin and how he looked when they were together, and she was trying to tamp things down, even like as she's walking through this hallway, and then she sees this baby. I mean, it's probably so cute, and thinking, oh, maybe this is our baby, or could have been our baby, or something. And then, she will just admire it.
It's tugging at your leg, like it wants you to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, she's thinking about this could be what could still happen, and she'll.
I mean, he
pick up
does
the
have
baby.
Joaquin's eye.
Yeah. I mean, she's gonna go ahead and pick up the baby. I mean, so cute.
Dolly, you can be coming down the stairs at this point, and you see Nina holding the baby. What do you do?
Nina, where'd you get that baby?
She's holding the baby, and she's probably turning to you very slowly with a very big smile on her face, like, this little one's here. Isn't it so wonderful, so normal? Yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah, just crawl to me. I mean, look.
The baby turns to you. Its jaw slack open, Dolly. It just goes, ah.
What does this room that we're in look like?
It's just a hallway.
Just the hallway? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it
Then
like
there are places to go, but right now it's just a dark hallway.
Is it like a dark, spooky underground hallway, or is it like a normal house hallway?
It is like it almost looks like it actually almost looks like a laboratory. Like it's very clinical.
Yeah, that's Nina, you found that baby down here?
Yes.
Just crawling around.
Ernest, you can be coming down at this point.
Why would someone leave a baby on its own in a basement?
Oh, you scared him. It's okay. And then she'll kind of like place the baby's head on her shoulder, like, I guess looking at them, turning away.
It's just chewing on your shoulder, gumming your shoulder.
Yeah. Oh, so cute. Shh, it's okay. It's okay.
Cliff, you'll hear the murmur of voices down below after you're done smashing Greedy Gut. What do you do then?
Going to make my way toward it. Hopefully they found Nina.
And here we all are, one big happy family, down in the hall.
I think that Nina will,
The baby points down the hall.
Oh, is that
Dada! Dada!
Is that where your daddy is? Okay. We'll go down and see your daddy, okay? She'll head down the hall with the baby in her arms.
Cliff's gonna grab Dolly and say, I don't think we should go there.
We can't let her go by herself.
She left me and David. I can't leave David again.
Ernest, you still have that gun, right?
Right here. Nina, you should take this baby out of here.
I have to see. I mean, like, Joaquin's probably down here.
David might know what
that's his
happened to
baby?
Joaquin.
I think it's too late for Joaquin. I found Professor Godfrey. They killed him, Nina.
She'll look back at you, and just kind of like, you'll see like her eyes clear for a second, and then they'll look stricken. But then she'll look back at the baby. What's the baby doing?
Just cooing, and it wants to go back in the direction it came from.
And she just looks up at you and says, "You know. Now I have to know." And then she'll turn away from you and then head down the hall.
Do you all leave Nina to her fate, or do you?
I will follow her. I'm not going to let her go by herself.
And I'll follow Ernest.
Cliff's gonna start backing away.
So you're not following Cliff?
I don't think so, no.
You follow down the hall. And the hall ends. One way goes left, one way goes right. Left is a door, which is partially open, big enough just for a baby to crawl out. Right is stairs going down. The baby points towards the door. Dada. Dada!
Shh, shh. It's okay. All right. I mean, we'll look, okay? She won't go all the way in, but she will push the door open with one hand to look.
You will see it is some sort of laboratory. There are no instruments, though. It's mostly just tables with Vilela Pereiras and Diaz's, or would-be Vilela Pereiras and Diaz's, attached to the tables. Some of them are sleeping, some of them are awake. Some of them are adults, most of them are children. Some of them are fully transformed with the dark hair and the green eyes. Some just have faint bits. This baby looks like it was sort of halfway through the process. One young boy, 14 years old or so, turns and looks at you, and he has those bright green eyes, but his hair is blonde. And he turns and looks at you, and he smiles, and he says, ah, ah, ah. And then you hear footsteps. Please, come inside. There's no danger for you here. All of you. You've come this far. You might as well come and look upon my work.
Is this person in the room?
Yes.
Okay.
Cliff, you hear the voice. Someone's talking to them.
Gonna get closer to the door, but not go in.
The rest of you go in.
Nina will. I mean, she's still got the baby in her arms.
And
Yes.
Ernest will, and he will level the gun at this man.
He says, Mr. Pickett, there's no need for violence or threats of it. He is dressed in an immaculate black suit with a red-lined cloak and a thick head of salt and pepper hair. He has the high cheekbones, very high cheekbones, and very vivid green eyes. He says, I am Bernardo Diaz, or De Diaz, if you want to be strict about it. Here, little one. He goes to take the baby from you.
Stand back.
He says, Mr. Pickett, there's really no need, truly. And
What did you do to Professor Godfrey?
at this point, you'll also notice that he has on his hand a very bright, glimmering red ring. Cliff, you didn't put two and two together at first, but you can see the glimmer of the red ring, and you'll remember it's also depicted in the painting. He says, I had nothing to do with Dr. Godfrey. In fact, I tried to save Dr. Godfrey and I failed. He and I were informal colleagues, you might say.
Save him from what exactly?
Well, the truth of the matter is, the situation here in Castronegro has gotten a little out of hand.
Where's Joaquin?
I don't think I know who that is. Is that one of my little nephews?
I'm... If the proprietor of the tobacco shop is to be believed, I mean, somebody is everybody's nephew.
Yes, I suppose that's true. You are probably wondering what's going on here. I am, of course, happy to tell you everything. That's how it always goes in these stories, isn't it? The villain reveals all to our erstwhile heroes. The fact of the matter is, we came here a long, long time ago, seeking witches. And we found them in Agua Blanca, now called Castronegro. Funny thing, we didn't burn them at the stake, which was our inclination. No, we let Gabriella convince us of another path. She said she could use her power to help us build a dynasty of the Diaz family, the Varela Pereiras, another noble Spanish family. We could become strong here in the colonies, and go back to the mother continent and force the crowned heads of Europe to bow to us. It was an intoxicating idea. But of course, building our fantastic lineage, our eternal dynasty, came with some problems. Gabriella put the ambition in our minds, but then, in her cruelty and cleverness, tricked us. We stopped having girls for a start. And when we tried to breed with locals, our seed murdered the womb. We had to find new ways of making Diaz's and Varela Pereiras, and that has been my task for many decades now. It doesn't always go well, unfortunately. I have hundreds upon hundreds of disappointments over the years.
What do you do with the disappointments?
Well, that is a source of controversy. I'm so focused on my work that I did not notice when outside forces tried to take advantage of the particular energies here, the energies that drew Herrera and Garcia here to begin with. I know nothing and care nothing about Yog Sothoth. Dr. Godfrey I tried to save him from those lunatics. No, I am here doing my work that I've always done.
How exactly do you go about making new Diaz's and Varela Pereiras?
And he kind of lifts up, his ring glimmers. And then Greedy Gut crawls up onto his shoulder. Greedy Gut's little hands go up to his ear, and he whispers, and Bernardo smiles. Everyone make an insight roll, please. Tell me what you got.
I got a 5.
Does that mean you're going up to 5?
Just going up to 5.
Very good.
2.
I got 2.
2.
I got a 5, so not going
You're,
up.
you're not going up, but you're. Ernest, how is this? How is the appearance of Greedy Gut drawing you closer to the edge?
Just the sheer horror of what this man has been doing all these years. And, you know, the number of lives that have been sacrificed to his ambition. And it's because this thing was whispering secrets into his ear. This monstrous rat.
The witches are long dead, but their familiars are still with us. This is Greedy Gut. He was Pablo Garcia's familiar. There's also Puddock, the Herrera familiar. I think you've already met Puddock.
Puddock?
Greedy Gut thinks that it's best if I don't let you leave here alive.
We'll see about that. And I think
No,
Ernest pulls the
Mr.
trigger.
Pickett. Your hand just stops. He raises his glimmering ring. Put down the gun, Mr. Pickett. And as he's speaking, the rat is also speaking. It's like his voice is coming out of the rat's mouth. Put down the gun. Or better yet, turn it against the others.
As this is happening, can Nina react?
Yes. What do you do?
She pulls out the scalpel and then stabs it into his ring finger.
Indeed. Make the roll.
Can I add a die for being a nurse?
Sure.
Too light? Can I do one
yes.
dark?
If you go for it if you want to, yeah.
Sure.
Or insight. It's 5. It's a success. And you must make an insight roll in a bit. You can cut the ring clean off.
Yeah. I think that's what she does. As he's making his murmurs and the rat is, like, also talking in his ear, I think she pretty much is at his side and she has just driven it right through the ring. And the ring finger with the ring on it drops to the ground.
As soon as the ring is severed from his hand, he jerks back and just collapses in on himself, withers away to dust and bone, and just Greedy Gut hops down. Ernest, Greedy Gut's trying to get away. What do you do?
Shoot Greedy Gut.
Greedy Gut explodes.
I want to grab the finger with the ring on it.
You can.
Because if I'm going to be a famous investigator, I need proof.
You have it. You have the ring. You're all here with half-formed Diaz's and Valletta Pereiras. Let's just have that moment. Let's just take a 5-minute break. So yeah, you're there in the lab. Dolly has picked up the ring. Greedy Gut's guts are spread all over the one wall. And the remains of Bernardo de Diaz are in a heap. The little baby in your arms, Nina, points at the remains and goes, Dada! Also, I owe you an insight roll from your roll previously, Nina, so go ahead and roll that. A 1. Keeping it together, perhaps long enough to find Joaquin. So let's just have the scene.
When you say that these are half-formed people, I'm gathering that they are people that are being transformed into
Yes.
this sort of.
It appears they took babies and used magic to force them to be Diaz's and Villa de Pereiras.
But some of them are adults. in this room.
Yes, there are some adults. Well, they're all like adolescents. Yeah, very young adults.
Children, can you understand what we're saying?
None of them seem to have a capacity for language.
What do we?
What the hell do we do
what do we
now?
do with them?
Cliff's going to be looking around the library for anything that might be flammable.
Yeah, there's plenty of cloths and furniture and all kinds of stuff on the ground floor.
We burn it.
We have to get these people out first.
They're not people.
Well, they're not people.
Look at them.
She's right, Cliff. We can't just do that. There must be someone who can help them somewhere.
Did
Take
you
care of them. Put them in an institution.
Did you say that opposite this, the door to the lab?
There are stairs going down. Down, down, down.
Cliff is going to see Nina's eyes in that direction, say, Nina, no.
What if he's down there?
Then he's
Cliff,
already lost.
Cliff, I know you have already found what you were looking for, but I think I need to go down there. I need to understand what's happening here.
I need to know. I mean, Ernest has already, unfortunately, found Dr. Godfrey, but I still don't know. Go if you must. I mean, take David. Go take David far, far away from here. When the bus comes, just go. Just go.
Nina, give him the baby.
Okay.
Let Cliff take the kid out of here.
Cliff will look kind of like he's going to protest, but he just kind of clamps his mouth shut.
Ernest, you can stay with Cliff and help get these people out, or you can come down below with Nina and I, but I think we're going.
I have to know.
And let the two of you go down there by yourselves.
Nina will hand Cliff, of course, the
And I
baby.
have the gun.
I'll
Remember,
have Bill
those-
wait as long as he can.
Okay.
Those people that Bernardo said hurt Professor Godfrey, they're still out there.
I know that. Cliff, I'm not sure you should trust Bill.
What choice do we have?
I guess. Just
Be careful when you go on the bus, if we're not there.
remember what he said he did, apart from driving the bus, is all I'm saying.
What? Oh. Oh. Oh no.
And don't trust that priest. He's one of them. He knew this was happening.
Yeah. We'll wait at the constable's office as long as we can, and then in the morning, you should be on that bus too. Just be on the bus.
We'll try.
Nina makes her way downstairs.
Ernest follows.
Probably gives Cliff's hand a squeeze. Good luck.
You too.
And she goes
And
down the stairs.
he'll watch for a minute and then take the baby out the way he came.
Down below. down, down below. The stairwell is roughly hewn. It descends into a subterranean space of dark burrows and warrens. You get to the bottom of the stairs, and you can see tunnels, corridors, wide open cave spaces, tight, twisty passages. And everywhere you look, Diaz's and Vilela Pereira's crawling about. Dozens, hundreds. They mostly keep to themselves in little clutches, muttering, vocalizing to each other. If they see you, they don't act with any particular hostility, but they always sort of let out a keening moan of recognition. There are.
What the hell are they doing with these people?
The place smells of filth, of bodies. Occasionally you hear peals of bizarre laughter. But deep within, Nina, you hear one voice. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll never leave again. I'll never leave again. I've learned my lesson. I've learned my lesson.
He hurries to that voice. Wherever it is.
Dolly's gonna grab Nina's arm as she starts to rush. We have to do this quietly. We don't know what's in there.
She closes her eyes and stops.
I want the insight roll first, Nina, for the recognition of Joaquin's voice. It's a 1. But it's such a good time for 6, but what do?
She stops and thinks about a happier time when his voice was more normal and was talking to her. And she hears what Dolly says, and then she stops and looks back at her and says, "What do you suggest we do?"
I don't know. This is actually my first investigation. Ernest, you've traveled the world. Do you
I've
have
never
a
seen
plan?
anything like this. I'm beginning to think Cliff may have had the right of it. But we gotta get out of here and warn somebody. Tell somebody.
But we don't know what to warn them about. We need to know what's in there.
Nina's going to shake herself a little bit more straight, and she's going to slowly lift up her hand, which has the bloody scalpel in it. This requires following protocol. We will go in there, and make our examination and diagnosis. And then she will have it at the ready when she goes into whatever room his voice came in from.
I
Follow with
think
the gun held up.
I would also like insight rolls from Dolly and Ernest just for being in this environment. Dolly goes up. Ernest goes. Ernest is lost.
Oh no, Ernest!
Ernest is lost. We'll deal with you in epilogue, Ernest. You will narrate in epilogue how your character is lost to Castronegro. Cliff. You get heading back to Castronegro, and you meet Father Alonso on the road. He says, "Your friend, is he okay? Is David okay?"
Close enough, I think. Thank you, Father.
Yes, it seems to have worked. They tried to get in to the chapel, but I secured the doors. They beat at the doors for a good long while. Not the first time they've done that, but we build them strong. And then they just wandered off. I feel like something has changed. I don't know what, but it's different now. The air is different. It somehow feels cleaner in a way. I don't know if that makes any sense.
I hope you're right.
Well, maybe we can convince him to give us a drink at the Changeling. What do you think?
No, I should get back. I have this baby.
Oh, and I think here he'll notice it for the first time. Like, oh. He kind of puts his hand on the baby's cheek and sees its one green eye. He says, "This town is a horror. And yet, even within the darkness, there are motes of light, I think."
Oh, well, I hope you're right about that too. I should go, but when the bus comes in the morning, maybe it's time for you to try a different location.
No, I don't think so. Someone has to stay here, even if whatever has gripped this town all these years is loosened. There will be. I have a feeling there are people who are going to show up at Mass for the first time in a good long while. They will need tending to. Someone has to be here for these people.
Of course. I wish you the best of luck. And thank you again.
Yes. At some point, you all, Nina and Dolly, lose track of Ernest in the many twisty tunnels as you're following the voice. You eventually see Joaquin. He's by himself. He's still dressed in his street clothes, though they are not in good shape. And he has no shoes on. And he's just crouched in one corner. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Nina, what do you do?
She will place the hand with the scalpel behind her back, or at least lowered, so he can't see it. And then she'll reach out with the other hand and say, "Joaquin? Joaquin, it's me. It's Nina."
His eyes widen in horror. No, no. You can't take me. You can't take me. I have to stay here.
No.
I have to stay here.
No. It's fine. It's fine. Bernardo's gone. He's gone. You're fine. We can go back. We can go back to Silver City. Come on.
Some more of the degenerate Diaz's and Layla Pereiras creep up from behind, and they put their hands around him, almost lovingly. And they say things in their language, soothing things. And Joaquin looks at you and says, family is the most important thing. Make one more insight roll. Just Nina. It's a 6. You are also lost. The next morning, David and Cliff and Dolly, you were on the bus. The bus driver, what was his name? Bill?
Bill.
He says, as you're kind of getting on, says, well, how was your visit to Castronegro?
David just walks past.
Or Cliff.
Sorry, Cliff, yeah.
Dolly looks at Bill and gives sort of a pained smile and just says, "Good morning, Bill."
Morning, ma'am. I guess the other two decided to stay for a week, huh? I don't see them anyway. Well, good for them. I'm sure they've got their reasons. We'll wait here for just a minute, see if anybody else wants to get on, and then we'll be heading out. We should be back in Silver City probably by around 2. If that sounds okay with everyone.
Dolly sits in her seat and takes out all of her newspapers and notes and just sort of stares at them blankly.
At a certain point, someone comes up to the bus door and knocks. He's like, Bill says, "Oh, we got one more passenger." And Juan Herrera steps onto the bus. Tall, blonde, lanky. He's got his suitcase. He says, he looks at you all who are there, the 3 of you who are there anyway, and he says, I think it's time for a change of scenery. And he comes and sits down next to you, Dolly, even though there are plenty of seats to sit at. He sits in yours. And he puts his hand on your leg in the pocket that has the red ring. And he says, maybe you could show me a little bit of your life back in Albuquerque, Miss Mason. And I don't even need a reply. We shall have 3 epilogues. One for Nina de Rhyme and Ernest Pickett, who were lost to Castronegro. One for Cliff, reunited with David. Dolly doesn't get an epilogue. Think on it for a moment, and whoever wants to go first, take it away. Epilogues. Who wants to start?
I can start.
Go for it.
I think we see Ernest at the desk in room 4 of the hotel. And there are piles and piles of papers all around him. covered in his scrawled handwritten notes on top of typed sheets. He has a little typewriter there, but he's typing out pages of text and then taking them and scrawling ink notes all over. And there's just piles of this building up and building up and building up. And there are notes on the walls, and there are, sheets of paper just fallen all around him on the floor, and he's just drawn and pale, and his eyes are sunken in his face, and he looks unwashed, and as though he's just been channeling something out onto paper, and it won't, his hands and his brain can't keep up with whatever this is he's producing from somewhere. And there's no time to stop. There's no time to eat. There's no time to rest. It's just going and going and going until his fingers, the tips are bleeding as they hit the typewriter keys, and he's pulling paper out, and it's smeared with blood along the edges. And yeah, that's where he is.
Thank you.
I think at the point of Nina seeing Joaquin listening to these subpar members of his family and saying that to her, family is the most important, something snaps. And she sees, it's almost like she's going back into her mind's eye, and she sees the time that they spent together when she was talking with him in the hospital and when he was recovering from something, as if he had been crawling through scrub to get away or to escape something, and the fear in his eyes for that time that he was with her recuperating. And then he was talking about how, no, I can't tell you how. I can't tell you where it came from. Just know. I mean, like, we can make a life. We can make a life here, Silver City, or maybe we can find some other place, and we can go elsewhere, far away, even further than here. And then he disappeared. But she remembers having all of those wonderful times and him saying that she was his family then. And then she snaps back and sees his gibbering face say that to her. And then a film covers her eyes as she slowly smiles and says, yes, family is important. I can stay here, and I can help. I can be part of your family. And then you see the camera pan back as he smiles at her in that strange smile. And she opens up her arms to him and them as they come and overwhelm her. And the camera fades to black.
It's dark. Cliff?
We see a montage of Cliff leaving the university campus and taking a bus back to an apartment in Boston, and he's coming in the front door, his arms loaded with books, and you see David sitting at the table working on a chart of a skeleton, and he looks up and smiles, and then we hear a sound of a baby fussing, and David just goes, oh, I just put him down. And Cliff kind of smiles a strained smile and says, I'll go check on him.
Very good. The Secret of Castronegro. Let's go to stars and wishes. Whoever would like to go for the whole series, not just today, although today was very good. Whoever wants to go first, take it away.
I was saying when we were on our quick break there, that my shoulders are really tense. Like, I'm literally tense from this. It was the pacing, the characters, the decisions, the character decisions. It was all just perfect. It couldn't have been scripted how good it was. And I'm just so impressed with everybody, and I'm impressed with Jason. It was just so good and so much fun to play. I was horrified. I laughed. It was definitely something. This is going to stay, in my memory for a really long time. I'll be thinking about this for a really long time. There's a bunch of particular moments that I really enjoyed. The whole thing, the whole bit with Ernest in the basement of the barn, I thought was really great. It was really that sort of heroic action writer moment that he'd been really wanting, and he finally got his time, and I just thought that was really exciting. I really loved with um, once David was found, how Cliff's motivation completely changed, and it was so perfectly appropriate and still keeping up with the tension. Now is he going to be able to get back with David and get out of here? Is that going to be a thing at all? And I thought that was just a really great conclusion to that story. Same thing with Nina's story. Mads, you said something that I wrote down because I thought it was just so great when we were trying to decide if we were going to go into the room or go down to the basement, something like that. You said to Ernest, and now I have to know. And I was just like, yep, that's perfect. That's such a really great succinct way of summing up the motivation for almost everybody, all the characters' motivations in just one little sentence. And I thought that was so perfect and appropriate. Loved all the creepy noises, as always, the creepy NPCs. I still don't trust that priest. I don't trust Bill. I don't trust Juan. I don't trust anybody in this game. Everyone's evil. Yeah, and I really love the open end, no epilogue for Dolly, because I think it's so genre appropriate to keep that open ended, and it's also, it leaves that really sort of evil forebodingness of everything, keeps that going even past the end of the game. So yeah, just stars all around. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I love that ending for Dolly, that, all along she's kind of been this plucky heroine, and now she leaves, leaving everyone else behind, and with this Bernardo's ring in her pocket. And yeah, there's just this hint of like, oh, there's a real dark side to her somewhere. Yeah, this whole series was great, but today's session was just next level. I want to see like a black and white movie of this 3-part session with, like, it was so good. Yeah, it's real hard to pick out individual moments, but I love Jason's touch of that, the creature touching Ernest's face. That was incredibly creepy. And yeah, I don't even know where to start. There were so many good things today. That was like one of the best sessions I've ever played in it. And yeah, and great end to an amazing 3-part season.
Yeah, I ditto all of that. I really enjoyed this. This was like a I run lots of games and I play lots of games. Well, run lots of games, and I'm involved in role-playing games, and I publish them and make them, and I do all these things and podcasts. This 3-shot was a high watermark role-playing game thing for me. I really loved it. I think you all did a wonderful job, like responding and reacting and being in character to the things I was doing. I think it was probably some of the best GMing I've ever done. It was it's going to stick with me for a long time. It helps that it's a system and a scenario that I really love, which makes it just all the more like it's like watching your favorite, like it's like watching your favorite movie for the first time. You know, like it's really, really good. The every character had such a really great poignant moment. So I mean, throughout the whole thing, but today especially, there was just this real, like, the stakes were so high. Ben, the transition from like pre-David and post-David, the way you played the character was really, really good, and it was like exactly, I think, how that should have been. I liked that a lot. That was quite enjoyable. I really appreciated Nina's determination to find Joaquin, you know, like that was like such an interesting overriding thing. And then the whole barn sequence was great. I mean, that was just the classic, like, Call of Cthulhu, like, you know, creeping about. There's a fucking monster in the basement, and you know, and then even getting the little action moment at the end was really kind of fun, and kind of you know, sort of it came at the right moment, you know, like it kind of felt like the the first ending, you know, and then we get like the next ending is coming up, you know, the first of several endings. It was really good. And just in general, all three sessions, I thought everyone did a really great job, just like kind of grasping that, like, the point of this is just to see what is next, you know, like that's kind of the point, while also characterizing your characters, you know, whenever you had the chance. I thought that was all really, really wonderful. And yeah, I'll be thinking about this for a long time. It's really good. Thank you,
Jason. Your ability to just leave us at a cliffhanger for every break, where I want to just say, son of a bitch. I mean, this is honestly the scariest game this scariest series that I've played. And I mean, played some Cult Divinity Lost, and of course, like, you know, some Trophy Dark, or ran some Trophy Dark and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, there was just, it wasn't even jump scares. It was like the psychological, like, let's just dig in there and see how scary it's going to be. And it was scary every single time. And, you know, I commend you for it. I think, again, it's a tribute to the fact that you know this very well, and then you were able to, as you said before, like, run it with characterizations in mind and really dig into your wheelhouse and make this an experience, not just a game. I mean, like, you know, overall, I mean, like, I could see these things, like, you know, popping up in my head from, oh, this reminds me of like that movie and this movie vibe and all this kind of stuff. So it was very visual and very visceral. So I mean, I appreciate that very much. And everybody, I mean, everybody's character had some kind of moment where it was just, to encapsulate it, it's like, okay, Cliff is the smartest man alive for getting the hell out and being very sensible. Like, I found my person. I'm going to get the hell out of here now. Never mind these crazy people. And Dolly, holy shit, when you just blurted out, "This is my first investigation," I about died. I was just like, what? You've been leading us in, like, being this, like, this plucky adventure, and then what? And, oh, Ernest, oh my gosh, so many hero moments. I mean, I could just, you know, picture this, again, this like awesome guy who's like trying to protect and guard and like, you know, watching over people, and ending up lost to the environment. And it was just such a beautiful end. Just, you wanted to experience it all, and now you're stuck. You're in it forever. It's like, oh my God. So, I mean, lots of creepy moments, lots of things to enjoy from a very, like, deep point of view, not just playing like on the surface level. I mean, this was definitely high, like, you know, high level role playing for all of us, I think. And yeah, this was beyond, like, you know, just the game, like learning a different system. It was definitely another great experience. So I appreciate this so much. I thank you all for this wild ride, and this was awesome. That's all I got to say.
There's not much I can say that hasn't already been said, and I also agree with. So thank you, Jason, and everybody. This was a blast. Jason, your pacing and the way you kind of doled out everything and you timed everything just excellently. It was, yeah, 5 stars. Just brilliant. And one major star that hasn't been mentioned was Greedy Gut getting exploded by Ernest's bullet. I feel like that needs highlighting.
That was fun.
That was. I really liked. Just rather, I will say there was nothing I didn't like. This was great, and I had a great time. So fun to see Cthulhu Dark with a great gang and a master DM, or GM. So thank you again.
One more just little thing that I think really added to the atmosphere, that we were rolling everything in the trophy dark dice, or the trophy dice roller, so that we could all see what was happening when the rolls happened. And normally, I'm not really picky about having to see other people's rolls or not, but this is one of those situations where it really, really is awesome to be able to react at the same time as everyone else when you see that roll happening, and it really amped up that tension and that atmosphere.
I'm so delighted that we had 2 characters hit 6 insight by the end, especially when they did, like right at the sort of critical moment, especially for Nina, right? So yeah, that was really good.
The timing throughout was just crazy. Like, I know a lot of it is Jason's skill in steering things, but also like it just seems like everything just happened.
You did 100%. You did 100% of the module. Like the only thing you didn't really do fully is the Silver City stuff, because I cut that out. But like,
right,
because that is a part of the module that you can do. But everything, like from the bus ride forward, you saw and did everything. Like no stone was unturned. So
and it felt like it
yeah.
came all in the right sequence. So it like unfolded, and we went deeper and deeper and deeper with everything.
Yes.
And then we got that great like the barn escape where it's like, oh, maybe they have a chance here.
Yeah. Oh, I take that back. You didn't do the library. The library is the one you skipped the library. Yeah, but other than the library, you did everything else. So yeah.
Who shot Ernest?
Yeah.
Pot
shot. I know. Yeah. We didn't get to do the pot shots again because we didn't have any more like daytime street scenes, but had you, there would have been gunfire. Fabulous. Any other stars or wishes? In that case, before we go, we see Dolly Mason draped on a chaise lounge with a feather boa and a martini, admiring the red ring, the glimmering red stone on her hand. And then we hear something heavy. Thump, thump, thump. And Dolly smiles. An enormous toad, dog-sized toad with sickly yellow eyes and horrible white pustules all over its scaly body, has hopped up alongside her. It opens its mouth. Dog! Dog!